Welcome to Absolutely Marvel and DC. And Sal, today's a Marvel thing.
What? Finally. Feels like forever ago that we've had a Marvel thing.
I know. Once Falcon and Winter Soldier disappeared. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you watched it, but I watched the first episode. MODOK's terrible, and maybe we'll do a video on how bad it is.
I didn't even know it came out, but when we did our live show, it was just loaded with live comments being like, MODOK is horrible. No uncertain terms. No one's like, yeah, I like MODOK. No one likes it.
We're going to do a video on that. We're going to do a video on that. It'll be like 2 minutes. It's just going to be terrible. No, you don't have to watch it. We'll do a video. But today on Absolutely Marvel and DC, we're talking about the Eternals trailer. Something that something that's not terrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right? It's not terrible.
So before we get into this, we're going to go beat by beat through the trailer as we always do here at our trailer reviews. I want to open this by stating this is probably the first Marvel trailer I've ever seen that is trying to hype up something with giving you zero information about characters no one knows about.
And that goes for comic book fans too, because because good for you. Enjoy your participation trophy if the Eternals are your favorite super team. But for me, they've always been, it's like Inhumans, which I have zero regard for. And then there's the Eternals where I'm like, they're more boring?
This trailer, and we're going to go through it, doesn't have a villain, a plot, or anything.
Nothing.
It's got 2 jokes, doesn't even fall in line. It's mostly just cinematic scores and people on camera.
It's tone. It's just cinematic tone. Here's the tone. By the way, second viewing of this trailer, I actually kind of liked it better because there's tone. There's this whole tone. And then you got the Marvel stinger, and I was like, that was out of left field. Watched it again. I'm like, yeah, actually, I kind of liked it.
I will say, based on this tone, I'm actually excited for this movie more than I was. I still don't know anything about it.
Right.
But I'm more excited because it's kind of like when we saw those other movies where they broke the mold. I'm like, this is going to be different. This isn't going to be, all right, let's get together, crack a few jokes, get on some costumes.
This is not going to be Ant-Man.
No. So let's start the trailer. We'll talk more about it afterwards, okay?
Yeah. Bring it up.
All right, so we open on a sprawling shot over a beautiful ocean and amazing landscapes.
Yep.
And then we see what I'm going with indigenous people somewhere.
I think so, yes. Yeah, I'd say indigenous people, yeah. We're seeing a lot of gorgeous stock footage
I'm
of
assuming,
island.
My assumption is this has to be the beginning because they're supposed to be here from the dawn of man onwards.
Yes.
And I think this is going to be their arrival with the dawn of man. I think that's the point of this.
I think you're absolutely right. Yep. That the Eternals are in this crazy ship that is decloaking.
I wish I got to go to the set just as the caterer because they probably traveled the world for these shots.
Right? It's like when they made Prometheus, which I'm not a big fan of, but I love how it looks. It's just this has a lot of Prometheus vibes to it, which is actually kind of cool because Prometheus is beautiful and it's all about the same theme, which is chariots of the gods, humanity is born from space gods. Yeah. We're all a cruel experiment. Okay, that's the idea. Because Jack Kirby was all about that idea. He's like, who made the pyramids? Workers, indigenous slaves. No, aliens.
Well, I mean, that's the plot to Stargate SG-1.
And Stargate.
Which I love. And Stargate. Yeah, I always say SG-1. I'm a huge SG-1 fan. But
so's my wife. She loves SG-1.
I love Stargate. I love what they did with it, but that's the plot to that too. And I love that idea that we were populated by aliens. So what I realize now is the first 30 seconds is literally just sprawling landscapes and tone, as you put it.
That's right. Yeah. It's just... because that's the thing, right? It's it's phase 4, but phase 4 is basically going to be, I think it's the COVID era where it's the forgotten phase because there is no theme. There's no tone. There's nothing for phase 4. It's just Loki, Winter Soldier, Eternals. I don't know. It's just whatever we had that didn't fit the Thanos story. And
do you like space? Do you like street level? Do you like Loki?
Here, look at all these franchises. Enjoy.
Do you like MODOK? No one likes MODOK. Get that out of here.
That's Jeff Loeb. Get that out of here.
So, it then just keeps going with, it shows some powers that they're fancy, that they're doing stuff.
Yeah, we see the Eternals. We get some voiceover. We're seeing all the AAA list actors that they got to play characters that no one could name off the top of their head. And look at them doing their thing. I will say the powers you mentioned, they look really good.
Yeah. The score sounds amazing too. I want to put that out there. I'm a music buff. I love music.
Yeah.
And this score sounds incredible.
It's a solid score. Like, this is it doing an excellent job of setting up tone and getting that mood that the trailer's going for. But like when whoever it is has her hand in the dirt and water flows out of it, like it looks like she's conjuring water, and water's a really hard CG effect to achieve. It's like that's pretty. The filigree thing he's making, like I don't care. And again, like I'm not apologizing. I'm not a Marvel fanboy. I don't really like the Eternals, but I will say in terms of movie making, it looks.
This looks incredible. Yeah,
it looks pretty. So let's keep going. Like, look at these people.
I am gonna say, based on what we're seeing in this trailer, it looks like we're gonna basically see where they've been for the entirety of their. Like, it looks like we're gonna go through like ages with them. Like, we're not gonna really see much of them in the modern day. But the stinger kind of says that we will.
Oh,
but
yeah,
we'll get to the stinger in a minute.
Yeah,
because like they're at like what appears to be Babylon. Like right here. Okay, so if you go to in the trailer, if we go to the 123 in there.
Yeah.
It shows these two like getting married multiple times.
Right, like throughout history. That made me actually go back. I was like, whoa, is that the same couple? And it's like different eras. Because of course, Eternals, they can die, but they are resurrected by like a machine within the city.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think we're kind of getting a Hawkman vibe, where it's like we're just seeing them throughout their lifetimes. Like each time they find each other and they get back together.
It weirdly reminds me of that weird movie with Hugh Jackman where he was like the time traveler guy, and they were like different periods in time, and one was a tree, and I didn't have any idea what was going on. Thank you. I had no idea what was happening. I watched A Fountain all the way to the ending, and I'm like, wiki for this one.
Yep. Yeah. Thank God I'm not a movie YouTuber. The Fountain Explained. Darren Aronofsky's brain tumor film. But yeah, it does have vibes of that. It reminds me of those kind of like art house like hippy dippy movies that I like that are just good looking, like The Cell. Who doesn't love watching The Cell?
I liked The Cell.
I like The Cell too.
I actually like art house movies a lot of times.
Yeah.
But the only problem I have is I have to know I'm getting into an art house movie.
Yeah, don't pull the rug out from under me with one of those movies.
I hate expecting one thing and then they're like, it's an art house piece, and I'm like, oh God.
The Fountain was
I
one of those
wasn't in the mood for that.
No. I was like, ooh, Darren Aronofsky, I like his work. Let's watch this. Oh.
So it's MCU, so I'm not expecting this to be an art house movie.
Nah.
We see a lot of weird scenes. Kamal Nanjiani doing a dance.
Yeah. We're seeing Angelina Jolie using an energy sword of some kind, cutting curtains down. Whoa. Yep.
Somebody singing.
We're seeing 3 Eternals using their like whatever powers to like levitate into the air. I think, based on my very tangential knowledge of Eternals, they're forming the Unimind.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
132 in the trailer, we have the scene everyone's talking about and Dan was mistaken about, but the first visible on-screen Black Knight.
Yes, finally! My 978th favorite Marvel character.
That's my question. How does he fit in with the Eternals? Like
Black Knight?
For those who don't know, Black Knight is his own thing. Like, he has nothing to do with the Eternals.
No.
I don't know how this is going to fit. He's normally a guy that goes to Weird World, and he lives for a very long time. And now they've rewritten him so that his sword is Null Sword. Yeah. So it's like, I have no idea what they're doing with that. I don't know.
I mean, Dane Whitman is the second Black Knight. So my guess is that, like, because the Eternals are generational and they've been around forever, that, like, maybe the Black Knight has encountered the Eternals before, and who knows what kind of version of Black Knight we're going to get. I don't understand why Black Knight would be in this movie, like you said, but...
maybe it's like you said, though. Maybe it's just because he's also immortal, so he sees them through the lifetimes kind of a thing.
Here's the thing. I'm thinking maybe they're doing this because they're not making a Black Knight movie, but they also think, hey, you know what? Like, I will say, 2 Avengers are in this movie. Cersei, an Eternal, and Black Knight. Both of them were Avengers for like a long time. Maybe they'll get cool jackets with A's on their shoulders and become Avengers. Who knows?
I'm kind of thinking that the Black Knight's going to be a test the waters of them. And if that Green Knight movie does well, the one that I'm super excited about, I guarantee we're going to get a Black Knight Marvel movie.
Totally. You know? They're like, yeah, we could do an Excalibur movie. Yeah. And with the dude from Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. We got the Game of Thrones guy.
I do feel bad for Kit Harington because it's like, do you like playing knights? I hope you do.
Yeah. You better get used to wearing armor, kid. That's fine. I'll take it. Hey, listen, one day, if you become an Avenger, you could get a cool jacket.
Yep.
You still gotta wear that helmet, though, because that helmet is dope.
And then so at 132, we have a complete tone shift, which going with your tone discussion.
Right.
Up until 132 is all epic. Whoa, it's amazing. Look at how incredible this is. Swelling scores. And then we just cut to a vocal track from a normal song.
Right. Here's this. I guess because maybe they were cutting it and they're like, uh-oh, this is a little too niche. We got to get them. Play some song. And then hit him with a joke.
And there's also the joke right after the titles roll.
Yeah. Well, we see our Eternals. They're sitting down to dinner and they're all chatting it up. Sprite muses about who's going to lead the Avengers. I saw Twitter blow up about it because they refer to Captain Rogers rather than Captain America, because they're like, there is a Captain America. His name is Sam Wilson. Captain
That's
Rogers.
true, yeah, because depending on where this takes place in the timeline,
yeah,
we could just have another Captain America.
Yeah. But they muse about who's going to lead the Avengers. Icarus is like, me. They all laugh at him. Date.
Date.
Date. But yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, that's weird. That was like not necessarily poor taste, but I was like, where did this come from? Saw it again. I'm like, okay, because like they're not like a family, but they are like they're a race that like lives together. So it's like, yeah, they're all together and they're doing their thing and they're ribbing each other. And I'm like, okay, all right. Plus, Thanos is an Eternal, so I feel like he's going to be the reason they come out of hiding.
I'm wondering if this is mostly going to be them through the generations. Mm-hmm. And then at the ending, it's just going to be a couple stingers and like, well, now they're in the modern day. Kind of like Captain America 1.
Yes.
Where it had nothing to do with the normal MCU until the last scene.
Yeah. I'm very concerned it's going to be like the Inhumans pilot, where it's like, look at all this crazy stuff on the moon, and now they're in New York and wacky hijinks.
Wacky hijinks.
And by the way, I'm sorry, not New York. They're in Hawaii. But yeah, I fear that that like 2/3 of this movie is going to be now, and it's just going to. And I think I'm okay with that. And here's why: I think it'd be cool if they're like, there's a void in the MCU. Like, the MCU is empty right now. And it's going to be filled with Disney Plus characters. But right now, it feels like tonally, as like an audience member and as probably a citizen in this universe, it's like, it feels empty. There's no Avengers. Spider-Man's being weird. There's nothing going on.
Spider-Man's being weird.
They want to, yeah. Because a guy who was named by the Italians did some stuff and then died, and they blamed him. But anyway, like, there's this vacuum. And so, like, the Eternals are kind of like, they're like, we're separated too, like we're above you, and then we show up, and like I like this idea of this kind of like cold, empty Marvel universe, and then the Eternals show up, and they're like, hey, all the popular characters are gone. Maybe it's our turn.
All the popular. We even got Black Knight. Some of you remember him.
yeah. Let's get Darkhawk and Speedball too.
Let's get Speedball.
He's our most he's our relatable character. But no, how do you feel about this trailer? How'd you feel?
It's got me more hyped. I still know nothing, but at least I know what I'm getting into now. Some epic sprawling space adventure, which I do. I love my space stuff. I mean, I'm trying to learn how to play the computer game Stellaris just because it involves space, and I'm like going and saying like, "What do you mean my colony wants a government? God damn it!
Dictatorship again!
You're all being dictatorships."
Yeah, it's easier. It's just easier. But yeah, I feel like this is cool. I fear it won't be in space because the Eternals like don't really travel very far. Like Kree, Celestials, like they come here and they're like here. Like Celestials make Eternals, and they're like, here you go.
No, but I don't mean like a space adventure, but I like the idea of the aliens and things. I like the idea of like there's more than we know, which is why I think I've always enjoyed superheroes. And this just kind of like, yes, the Guardians exist, and yes, we know about Thanos, but outside of like a couple mentions here and there, we don't know much about the sprawling celestial cosmic MCU.
No, closest we got was like an exposition dump from The Collector, where he's like, here's what's going on, here's where the Infinity Stones came from, look at the Celestial over there.
So even if this just turns into we're still just on Earth with the Eternals, it's going to add more to the universe. It's going to break it even further. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we'll get Nova mentioned or things like that. Like, Could you
I
imagine
take
that? Like, we
Nova,
brought a helmet.
Yeah, I take Nova. You know what? This is a great opportunity for them to name drop Galactus.
Yep.
You know, there's
Silver
potential
Surfer?
here. Yeah, Silver Surfer at least. I mean, if I were gonna hedge my bets about where these guys are gonna show up, I'd say Guardians 3. But you know, this is
Galactus is going to be in Fantastic Four. There's no way around
yeah.
that.
Well, that's true. No, but I feel like they might be like, hey, you know, because Kirby and the Fantastical, maybe Thor 4. But yeah,
Do you think that we'll get an astronomical engineer to show up in there?
They better not tease that anymore. Knock it off. No more. I think that's a Disney Plus affectation where they're like, there's a character that's not showing up. No. No. I don't have any patience for that. No more.
Not in my movie. Don't do it in my movie.
Just give me the Eternal. Like, I don't even want the Eternals, but like, if I'm going to see a movie called Eternals, like, I get it, and I'm not expecting anybody else. You know, I'm fine with it.
Right.
Just give me the Eternals. Don't. You know what? We're getting Black Knight too. Sure.
Right.
Okay. Fit him in.
All right. Well, that's it. I'm excited for this. So that gives us what? Black Widow. What's the one between Loki? Well, Loki.
Loki is first. Black Widow. Venom. Let There Be Carnage is in September.
There's another MCU movie though. I thought between Black Widow and Eternals. Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Right. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we got coming up. It's gonna be a great year. I watched my YouTube views go down, my revenue go down. But you know what? It's fine because July everything comes back.
That's right. Bounce it back, baby. Thanks for that Marvel bump.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching today's trailer review right here at Absolutely Marvel and DC. We'll be talking about a lot more stuff real soon. Hope to see you here.